Welcome to yet another movie special of the podcast. Oh boy, movies, my least favorite thing to talk about. This movie's good, you should watch it. No, this movie's bad. And so that's the extent of my criticism. Yeah, I'm a real regular Roger Ebert. And speaking of film critics, by the way, rest in power to David Stratton. Oh no, died at 85 years old. He was just a baby. Yeah, so David Stratton, if no one's listening to this, but if you're outside of Australia, you probably don't know who he is. Even within Australia, if you're a bloody Gen Zer, you're bloody Zoomers. But he was basically the, I would say, the Gene Siskel of Australia. Well, he had his at the movie show since like 86 up until 2015 with Margaret Pomeranz. And well, if you're American or I don't know. I don't know if every country had their own, like, Siskel and Ebert, you know. I don't know. In, like, Venezuela, they have their Pedro and Moscusio or whatever. And here in Australia, we had Margaret and David, and Margaret's still alive, but David's dead now. Oh, no. Passed away. He passed gas. But that was certainly something that I grew up with, at least from age, 12-ish? Around about then, I don't know. Once I was old enough to start watching SBS. Had a limit on when I could just switch to that channel, or even during the day. But he was like the sort of guy who had, well, I'm noticing with like every film critic, they have their like thing that they don't like. So, I mean, you know, sometimes it's kind of obvious. Like for some critics, it's like they don't like political incorrectness, you know. And then there are other film critics that just like the opposite, more YouTuber kind of critics who are like, you know, oh, all this woke shit is bullshit. Oh, I love it when it's anti-woke. You know, like, yeah, that kind of thing, this sort of thing. But for David Stratton, sometimes it's more of just a technical thing. And for him, he didn't like shaky cam. You know when shaky cam got really big? With those Bourne movies and everything? Because with that, like, he didn't even like the Bourne movies. When they came out, he was like, oh, it's too much shaky cam. It's making me sick. I can't see, you know. And I mean, come on, guy. Like, you're not understanding, like, how... It's not just ha-ha shaky cam. It's done in a way to make the action more intense. And there's, like... You haven't really seen it done to this extent before in an action film where it's really showing, like, the chaotic nature of, like... being in a fight scene, in a fight scene, in a fighting moment in your life. With the Bourne movies, a lot of the fight scenes are kind of like, you know, they could be like running around doing parkour and like jumping off buildings, but then they end up in like a closed quarters kind of situation where they're fighting in like a hallway or like someone's apartment, you know, that kind of thing, and they're just fighting through the apartment and like. You know, he gets like a bloody Vanity Fair and uses that to attack his the guy. Yeah, man, it's sick movies. So why are you shitting on them just because they got that shaky, which is good for the movie. It makes it better. Oh, geez, I don't know. Well, when I first watched The Bourne White Supremacy, I was 13, 12, I don't know. And I was like, I guess I watched it at home and I was just like, it's too shaky. And then I don't know, I changed my mind later. Maybe after I saw The Bourne Ultimatum, I was like, oh, no, it's fine. Like, if you actually sit down and watch the fucking film properly, like, I don't know, in a cinema, sit down and concentrate on it and be like, oh, yes, the shaky cam actually helps the action. I'm not just like a real stickler for this kind of thing where like, oh, I don't like the shaky cam. Oh, I need my films very still. I want my action movies to look like Bella Tarr Productions. Anyway, rest in power, David Stratton. But I love the guy, you know. I mean, it was a little bit of a... He looked really cranky. Like, I was watching some videos of him recently. I was like, remembering David Stratton, and showed behind-the-scenes footage. And I'm like, oh, man, he just seems kind of cranky. Even on the last episode, it's just like, I just want to get out of here and go home and watch a movie. But I really dug his shit. And all the stuff about, even before he even had that movie critics show, he was releasing books. He released books like... So the first one was about all the movies from the 70s. Then he did one and released it in 1990, which was all about all the Australian movies from the 80s. And there was a lot more because of the 10BA, government incentive, blah, blah, blah. But then he didn't... Then after that, he took quite a bit of a break. And in 2008, released his autobiography, which has the best title of any film-related autobiography or biography ever, called I Peed on Fellini. Which, as he explains in the opening kind of prologue, he sure did. He really did. He just sort of peed a bit on his feet when they were both at a urinal and David was so like taken aback. He's like, wow, one of the filmmaking greats. And he was like, oh, whoops, I pissed on him by accident. But then, and then he had like another book just about like, well, he released a book about like just his favorite movies. And I was reading through it like, it's just like, he just talks about the movie as if like, just the storyline and go, oh, the acting is very good and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Now I'm kind of shitting on it, but I felt like some of his criticisms were, I don't know, a little kind of like plain, just like, oh, the acting is good and oh, this character is kind of snotty and I don't like him, blah, blah, blah. Whereas Margaret, I'm a bit more team Margaret, okay? I think she was a bit more like really expressive as to how a film really kind of made her feel, how it could like compare to like, obviously when you're thinking of a film, comparing it to all sorts of all the other films you've seen. And how, I felt like she just had less of a, technically it's great. She was really able to express about like what the film really did for her. But anyway, rest in peace. But then he also released a book last year, something, I don't know, where he went over, then he reviewed, or just simply talked about, all of the Australian films released from 1990 to 2020. It's just, oh, fuck. So I kind of read or skimmed through that book pretty quickly and just went over all the Australian movies and jotted down some that I want to go see. And it was interesting because reading through it, because I'm like, oh, I remember some of these like Australian movies and, just comparing like, oh, I like that. And, he seemed to really hate that. I wish there was some... He would just go a bit more hardcore with his like criticisms in that book. I mean, I guess he would at times. Like, for instance, he didn't like Romper Stomper. He thought it was like actually racist, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, that book was kind of, I don't know. It would just talk about like, kind of like a little bit about the production behind the film, like, how it came to be. Then he would start talking about what the film was about. Like, he'd just go over the story, maybe with a spoiler, maybe, and then kind of like you might get a just one sentence, just, oh, it's a decent film, it doesn't really go anywhere, and that's it. And then he just talks about, and then it went over to this festival in bloody Vienna, and it didn't do well, and didn't get picked up, but it seemed to do pretty well in the bloody East Asian market, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. So, yeah, it's more about, like, I don't know, what do you call it, a filmography, a dictionary, an IMDb? I mean, that's basically what it is. It's just a MDB in paper form on like all the Australian movies that came out. And yeah, sometimes he gives just a sentence and that's it, or it could be a page. It could be a page of him bitching and moaning or talking great stuff about the movie. Either way, anyway, a lot of films that I look through there, I'm like, oh god, I'll never ever ever watch this fucking film. It's just so much crap. Well, unfortunately, sometimes I looked and I was like, oh, I'm never gonna watch this movie, although I already have actually. Ugh, man. I used to go to like a lot of film critic screenings, and after a while, it's just like, dude, I can't fucking do this with some of these movies, man. They're just so fucking boring. There's nothing even to them, especially these Australian movies. Like, I gotta be, I don't know, somewhat careful. But hey, what if you miss something that's really good? I don't know. Anyway, rest in power. So, The Life of Sneed. It's all I can think about when I'm watching the movie. Well, actually, so The Life of Sneed. Life of Sneed. I can't believe like I'm not even seeing any Sneed posting about this fucking film. That's how little people give a shit about this movie. But you know what? As I was watching this movie, I went to the cinema and I'm like, okay, the trailer looked crap. It looked like the kind of movie where it's just filled with all these like Instagram inspirational posts. It's like, life, when you're on the journey of life, you see what you actually feel. Oh, but really it's about this, It's like that thing where it's like, life isn't about it's like when you have A and B, but then actually it's more like B is in A. You know how like sometimes someone has a quote where they're like, it's not about the journey and the destination, it's how the destination makes the journey. Like they take the first part of your sentence and then flip it in the second part of their sentence, and it makes you go like, oh yeah, I read it. Oh, it's like that. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? Anyway, either way, I thought that's what the movie was going to be, but I still went to the critic screening because I'm like, whatever. And, it's not good. It's not good. I have things to say about it at least, and to be fair to the movie, I didn't like the movie. I walked out of it thinking like, oh, it's already going out of my head. I don't care. But later on, I got to like do a review for it for the website and this as well. But I did think about the movie and was like, okay, I guess there are like interesting ingredients in the film, but they're not mixed in. Or they're mixed and cooked in just a horrific way, and it's just a burnt sludge of slop that you end up getting. I mean, I shouldn't call it slop, but it's kind of chunky here and there, and it's like a bone, that kind of food, that kind of broth. So this whole the real Simpsons reference that I actually had in my head throughout this movie is the Gabbo episode. Where like, look, Gabbo's coming. Who's Gabbo? That kind of thing. That's what I was thinking, because this whole movie, it's just, look, the film kind of has this thing where it shows Chuck, and it's like, oh, who's Chuck? And it's like, thanks, Chuck, for 39 great years. And I'm looking at, like, these ads keep appearing for him, and it's done in an interesting way. I gotta admit, like, it did make me think, oh, yeah, who's Chuck? What's he all about? Because I started to think, like, maybe he's, like, a weird guy. Maybe there's something sinister. Maybe there's this thing where you have a thing in a movie where it makes you think one thing, and you're like, oh, yeah. And then as it gets, like, closer towards that, like, plot point, it starts to show you that it's actually something else. Maybe, like, ooh, this person isn't so good after all, and they have a sinister thing. Or, like, it's sort of an interesting thing, and you're like, like, how a film is, how it, like, evolves and tests the way that, like, you're thinking about the characters and that sort of thing. Well, in this film, nope, nothing like that, man. Nothing like that, because... And what's frustrating about the film, and I don't know why they really do this, but, like, they play the movie backwards. I don't mean backward, but, it's split up into 3 acts, but it's, like, Act 3, Act 2, and then Act 1. And it's just like, man, I'm so sick of these movies, like, adjusting and turning around, like, showing things in, like, a non-linear order when you're like, why? Why did you need to do this? What's the point? The only point I can think of in this film, spoilers maybe coming up, is, like, I guess the film hinges, on, like, the idea of knowing when you're gonna die. Like, that's kind of that's the concept that the film kind of lands on. In the last scene! In the very last moment of the film, that's what it does. And you're like, oh, okay, haha. Well, fucking... I feel like this might have been more interesting if we had this to begin with. I don't know. And, like, I guess the interesting thing about this Act 3, which... Oh, why does it start the movie off this way? Anyway, like, look. How the movie starts is that you're with the Chiwetel Ejiofor kind of... His character. You see him, and you're like, hey, he's not Chuck, or whatever. He's a school teacher, and then right at the beginning of the movie, he's just trying to teach a class, and it's like, there's been a big earthquake nearby, and then other shit starts going down, like, I don't know, a flood, the internet breaks down, then, like, the TV broadcasts break down, and everyone's like, oh no, what's next? It's like the electricity and blah blah. So there's this, like, apocalyptic situation happening. There is some talk about Chuck, because there are these ads that, like, show up on TV just before it, like, cuts out. And you're looking at this, like, Ejiofor character, like, and he has, like, this ex-wife that he's seeing, and yeah, he's like, oh, I should have stayed with you or whatever. Oh, look, the world's ending. Like, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Like, they go out and they start seeing all the stars are, like, blowing up, and they're just like, oh, fuck. And then, like, Earth is next, I guess, and... Well, I guess what I'm seeing here is that it's just putting forth this idea, like, when you die, the universe really does die with you. Like, your life is actually part of the universe. I mean, look, this isn't real, although in a sense it is, because when you die, let's say, like, you go forward, you start time traveling, basically, fast forward in time, if you get reincarnated. So yeah, I guess at least your world is dead by that point, unless you just wake up in the world, like, 3 years later, like, oh, okay, fuck, I gotta do this again now. I don't know, like, that's interesting, but it's just fucked, because to start off the movie in that way, why isn't it the other way around, when you get to know Chuck and then he starts dying, and then you're like, oh, let's go over to this character instead, because they're a part of the world, like they're gonna die with him. But when it's like opening up in the movie in this way, it feels like such a cold open. It feels like this thing that you're supposed to get to over the course of the film is happening straight away. So it's just like, oh, it's an interesting idea, but it's just knackered in the movie. It doesn't get played out very well. And I guess the whole thing is like showing the end first, and this whole thing about who's Chuck. Like, it just builds up so much mystery as to who this guy is and why everyone's thanking him. They're just thanking him because he's gonna die. Like, that's it. That's the twist for this motherfucker. There's nothing else to it. I thought that, like, I did kind of think, like, maybe, I guess the trailer doesn't, like, suggest this, but maybe he, like, rules that world. Like, he's not really dying. He's just actually killing off that world because he is, like, the great dictator, and people are like, oh, wait a minute. This guy isn't so great. Oh, everyone, like, praises him as our lord, but really, he's a cunt. Like, I just thought there might be something interesting like that, something intriguing, something that actually causes like some sort of shift at all in the movie. No, anyway, and then Act 2 is bullshit. Act 2 is just like him as an adult, because Act 3 is him like as a old man dying. Now Act 2 is like this very quick scene where he like walks past this like drummer busker, and then he starts dancing with this other chick, and everyone's like, woo, yeah. And it's like, oh, yeah, whatever. This doesn't really go anywhere. And then at the end it's a very quick chapter. And the end of the chapter is just them saying like, oh, it felt like the whole world was made just for this moment. It's like such a fucked up thought to have, like, oh, man, all the grief going on in like Gaza and everything and all over the world. So all this death and genocide and war and like babies dying and all this kind of shit, Oh, but it's all worth it if I could just have a fun little dance with some stranger like this one time in my life. Oh, wow, man, this is really what life's all about, This is what the world, the universe was created for, including all the bad shit as well. Like, dude, come the fuck on. Don't say like, oh, wow, all the death of like, infanticide going on in the world. Oh, but it's worth it because I get to have this one joyful moment in my life. Man, get rooted. Don't bring the whole fucking world in. Like, that's not the way to go. Like, the way to go is just to think, oh, well, I have some strife in my life, but hey, at least I got to have a Instagram moment, and now I feel good about myself, ha ha. God damn, I almost laughed out loud in the goddamn cinema at that point. And then it gets to Act 1, and this is him when he's a kid, like 10, but then also a little later on at 15-ish years old. And it starts going over, it goes over like, just a bunch of shit about him, like the grief in his life. Oh, my parents died. Oh, now I'm living with my grandma and my granddad. Oh no, now they're dying. Oh, and I'm still in high school. Oh, and I'm dealing with a bunch of shit that like I felt like was already dealt with in the Fabelmans, the Spielberg movie. Like the whole thing about like being this kind of dweeby, young, outsider, Jewish kid in a school. I'm trying to like get laid. I'm trying to get with chicks. Oh, it's hard. Oy vey. Oh, there's a little bit of bullying going on, anti-Semitism, that kind of thing. Like all of that, and it was like not even that interesting in the Fabelmans because it just doesn't go anywhere. And it sure as shit doesn't go anywhere in this movie either. It's just like, hey man, that's all these little parts in your life make up the whole life, I guess. Anyway, enjoy dying at 39. Oh, man, I don't even know if that's even a spoiler. But I guess spoilers. The whole thing. I don't know what whole thing. Anyway, there's this thing in the movie where his granddad tells him, don't go up into my room. Like, it's out of bounds. It's forbidden. And I guess he doesn't go in there either because there's this whole thing where, like, if you go into that room, you see how it is that you end up dying. Okay. I don't know, like... Again, like, it just might be more interesting to put at the start of the film rather than, like, this being the twist. Like, oh, now the whole film is different, I guess. Well, not really. Wow, what a fucking great twist. God, I don't know. I mean, I honestly think the third act is frustrating for how it just plays out, in the context of the movie, it being at first. It not badly made, though. Still not badly made, I guess. Like, it did make me think, like, what the fuck's going on? Like, this is, like, kind of creepy. I like this apocalyptic feeling. But even though the main guy's just like, oh, I guess the world's gonna end. Go see my ex-wife and, that kind of thing. I That's at least interesting, and it was good to watch. But I think Act 1 just has more of an actual character development, I guess. You just like Chuck character as a kid, like he's like trying to learn to dance because he likes dancing, I guess. And he should have been a dancer, I guess. That would have. But he was turned away from it because he had to do accounting or whatever he ended up doing instead. I got it. Like, Tom Hiddleston is barely in this fucking movie. He is really just like, he's in that dance scene, and then I don't know, that's it. Like, he's not in the third act that much because he's just dying, and then that second act is really quick, and then the first act is just kid version of him. All right, cool. Anyway, and it's a shit looking movie as well. It's just like ugly, glassy, muted color looking cinematography, just like super like modern day cinematography looking, just like, drowning the fucking film of color, like, and no, man, this film shouldn't be like that. Maybe towards the end, I guess, when there's like more of a dark kind of knowledge about, foresight on whatever. But no, it just looks shit and doesn't work well with the film, so fuck that movie. Alright, on to 28 years later. I caught this recently, and it's interesting because I watched 28 Days Later somewhat recently again, and I'm like, I don't care about this movie, and I haven't even seen it weeks later. But I feel like this new one, it's better than the first, I'd say, because the first one's just, blimey, zombies are hanging around, better fucking swim over to France. It's something like that. But this, and that's it. I feel like this new one has... It's a pretty great sequel, apart from one issue, damn it. But I'll get to that later. But it's a pretty good sequel because it kind of already has all the kind of groundwork laid out. Like, I think the start of the film... I guess the start of the film does have a thing where it shows, like, the zombies attacking on that day one, Hey, that's cool. That's always good to see. All these families and little kids getting fucked up and that. Yeah. But then after that, it kind of like... It's like, all right, you know what this film's about. Like, Britain is fucked up with the infected, but this colony of humans, non-infected, are on an island, and when the tide is low, they can walk. It becomes a peninsula, so they can walk along it, blah, blah. But they have a big gate at the front. Anyway, they seem to be doing okay, and then obviously things go wrong because this one fella takes his son into the British mainland to hunt. He's kind of infected, guess to just show him how to be a man, I guess. And they have that kind of thing, and then they get back, but then the son has an issue with the dad, and he's trying to get his mum to be healthy, and then they meet Ray Fiennes, and his character, like, when he comes in, he's fucking, he's pretty cool, because just his mentality, just his whole philosophy, like, they find him, and he's like, I'm a regular guy, I'm not crazy, even though he has this huge shrine to, like, the dead, and he's just saying... Memento mori, remember that you too shall die, and that's why he has this whole thing. And there's, I won't get into spoilers, but there is this like moment where, well, let's say the kid has his own thing to add to the shrine, and how he has to kind of wrestle with also the idea of having to die as well, and how that plays out, not just like, in how regular day life, but in the fucked up life of these people, and how they have to sort of, they can survive pretty well enough on the on that other island, but yeah, just still though, it's still a shitty situation, and it seems like it gives a fuck about like getting into some sort of like theme, or like, just getting into like a headspace of like where people would be at in this kind of situation, and how they feel about death. Obviously, death and murder and just death of natural causes is like, and then life itself, existence itself, like it's just considered like it's just recontextualized like into such a great degree. It's just the life that we live now and how it would be in that kind of situation. It just makes you think about how it would be to live in Gaza. Oh, so terrible. Get hit by a missile at any moment. You're genocided. Oh, so terrible. Yeah, no, that's that. Well, I think that's a fair enough. You can make that analogy, but it's not like they're like so fucking explicitly that it's like gross and just you're just using it to make the film seem like it's more topical. No, it's got more of a universal feeling to it, and it's just and the way it does it just through. Like I think technically it's like kind of a striking film at times. You're like, oh, it's kind of weird. Like they have like these iPhone like shots, some of it looks great, some of it like when it really needs to be, like when there's like an intense moment, either emotionally or in terms of action and the horror of, oh no, look out, they've got an infected person chasing them. Yeah, there is like a lot of like just such cool scenery, great cinematography, unlike the last movie. It's not like, funnily enough, because they're using iPhones, I guess, with adapters to film, but it looks great. It looks, actually earthy and like, because it has to be, because of like, dealing with being in a forest that hasn't been maintained, it's like very foresty. I mean, I guess it looks like Britain as it does anyway. But yeah, some great like cinematography, like, but even like striking, unique choices in like what kind of like scenery to show and what kind of music to use as well. Sometimes I'm like, oh, this is like weird. The music sounds like it doesn't fit, but then after a while I'm like, no, it totally does fit. This is like really interesting. I used to kind of like Danny Boyle more, and he had like his heyday with the likes of Sunshine and Millions and Slumdog Millionaire, and that's about it. And obviously Trainspotting. I don't know, like I'm not heaps keen on like all of his films nowadays, but like I don't know, this he does come across as a very kind of somewhat eccentric, kind of wanted to be like a cool kind of like using like these new techniques for like films and everything, and sometimes it doesn't work because in this film you have these like Matrix shots where a zombie will get hit with an arrow and it does that like that Matrix thing where they have like a bunch of cameras taking still images and they do that kind of thing. Yeah, but it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit in with the film, I guess a lot of people said it did, but to me it just doesn't. It just seems too like, whoa, look at this, wow. Like, obviously in the Matrix it means something because, you're in like a otherworldly kind of place, but in this it's like, it's just done to be like, hey, look how cool this looks, and it's posturing. It's that because the rest of the film has a more like genuinely serious side to it about like really delving into like the mindset of like of just death and being dead. But my fucking problem with the movie is that it was getting towards the end, but it doesn't feel that way. But I'm like, oh no, like it is going to do that thing that movies do where it doesn't end. It just doesn't fucking end. I mean, this movie, spoilers, if there even is a spoiler for a movie that doesn't end, but these like wacky like albino looking characters come out and they start like doing this anime looking shit. And you look at them and you're like, oh, these guys are evil, huh? Because they seem like it, but they're like, hey, little kid, come with us. Bah, bah, bah. And then the kid's like, oh, I don't know. And then it cuts to credits and you're like, ha 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 ha, fuck you, movie. I'm not watching the sequel. And it's bullshit because the sequel will not be directed by Danny Boyle. So what the fuck? What am I supposed to do now? This is such bullshit. And it's just another thing of like, I just don't like it. This is my critic's thing, okay? But you know what I was saying? Like, every critic has that one thing to get, like, mad about. Well, for me, like, if the film doesn't even fucking end. It doesn't even end. The story doesn't even come to a complete. I'm not fucking with this. I'm not cool with, like, oh, hey, all right. Movies are TV now. I guess movies are just TV. Hey, tune into the next episode of 28 years later. After all this time away since, like, the first, the last installment of, like, the 20 whatever later series... And then you just want to make like 2 right off the cuff? Fuck you. Just like ease into it. Make a film. Have it come to a finish. You can have some sequel bait shit in there. That's fine. Like obviously, the film can end with them being like, well, the mainland's still fucked up. There's still infected people there. So we could have a whole bunch of sequels. Hey, this shit's never going to end. But no, just to literally just not even have like a true third act. No, fuck you, movie. Alright, anyway, Naked Gun. Yeah, so I said I was on the last pod I was going to review it. So here it is. It's funny. There you go. No, it's cool to see, like, a Naked Gun remake. So we all first heard about this, and it's like, hey, guess who's playing the main character? Liam Neeson. Oh, he has a similar name to Leslie Nielsen. that made me think like, fuck, it's, I don't know, it just sounds like stunt casting and like, I don't know, just this whole idea of like, oh, Naked Gun. Oh, I thought comedy movies were dead. I thought woke killed comedy movies. How are we going to have a Naked Gun movie? Oh, you can't do that anymore because of woke. Okay. But anyway, yeah, no, it's a good movie because I'm not absolutely blown away by it, but it's running along like the same kind of humor that the original movies had, and even like the original TV series. I mean, if you've seen that movie or the series, the kinds of jokes where it's just scattershot. There's all sorts of different jokes. There's a great variety. There's like like the one-liners, some just like puns, I guess, visual gags, slapstick humor and that kind of thing. There's a whole lot of that, and it does seem to be, somehow continuing on with that kind of like style, the vibe of like the original movies, but it feels modern and it's got a modern story. And I guess the story is like this evil like tech genius Elon Musk kind of guy. He's like, oh, I'm gonna it's Naked Gun, who cares about the story, but like he's like making people crazy by like the sound that he emits through a app. Fuck, I can't remember. But it makes people crazy. I feel like I'm seeing this on like a lot of other movies now where it's like, oh, yeah, I mean, you obviously have it in 28 years later where you become infected and immediately you start going, trying to rip out people's throats. Oh, man, what was the other movie? I guess it was Weapons. Yeah, it fucking was. Yeah, Weapons. There's another one where it's like, as soon as I snap my fingers, everyone goes crazy and they go, and they just try to rip out your neck. It's like, it's that, it's like, all right. Even like if it's crazy that I watch Naked Gun and I'm like, ha ha ha, this story is very played out. And then I watch Weapons and I'm like, oh, it's kind of got the same thing. Not a bad movie, but it's just how I feel. Oh, that's bad timing. But anyway, yeah, it's a funny movie. There's like all sorts of like good jokes. I mean, there's a lot of jokes that aren't great, and I don't know. I think I dig like the one-liners. I'm really into like dialogue humor. And sometimes it's not so great in this movie, but like I like it when it's just quick little lines, like where he says to his co-cop, he says, you can't fight City Hall. He's like, no, you can't. It's just the building. Lines like that, man. Lines like that are absolutely the DNA of the original Naked Gun movies. That's brilliant. That even goes back to Police Squad, Like, it's good to see that it's in there. And there's like, the best scene in the movie is just, I really won't give the gag away, but it's like, there's cliched, like in terms of comedy, cliched things that you see, like him driving, like he's in a Tesla and it won't stop. And they have that whole thing, where like the people walk by with like holding a big wedding cake or they're holding like a big like the plane of glass. It's like, oh no, look out, get out of the way. That kind of thing that's been going on for like 60 years or something. And even the way they do it in this movie, so fucking funny. It's like they came up with like the funniest fucking joke you could even come up with. Watch the movie and you'll see like the last thing that happens in that whole sequence. Oh God, it's so funny the way they do it, And then maybe to a lesser degree, but still funny. The whole thing where in the original movies and in Austin Powers, you seem to steal the joke where, when you're watching like just silhouettes of two people and it's like, oh, it looks gross. It looks like he's, fisting or whatever. They do it in this movie and it's like, yeah, there's nothing that clever to it, but it's different to the original movies. And you know what, man? Because it's like a guy using infrared kind of vision, to spy on them. You know what, man? It's just funny. It's just funny. I watch it and I'm like, because it's not the exact same thing that they did before, but it's still the same joke, but it's along the same lines of the gag, Anyway, it's a funny movie. There's all sorts of funny things in it. And if you don't laugh at the movie, you know what, man? You might be dead. You're fucking dead. All right, just to go on to a few older movies that I saw. Oh, dude, so old. I finally watched Munich, the Spielberg movie. A lot of people say this is, maybe Spielberg's best movie. And I watched it and I'm like, you know what, man? I think you're right. I think Spielberg had a pretty good run, like with, this movie, War of the Worlds. I haven't seen the new one yet. But that's a good movie. That's a great movie, actually. That original... the 2005 War of the Worlds and then Minority Report and AI. Like, yeah, looking at like this kind of pocket of Spielberg's career and like, oh yeah, man, he really fucking he made some like good movies at this point where he was like, I'm gonna make a fucking blockbuster. Where like I'm gonna get $150 million to make a movie. Like I can do it. I'm fucking Spielberg, but I'm really gonna try. I'm really gonna try and make it like just have some other things going on. You know, have it be an interesting story and really like I don't know, just like really open up. You know, and just put a bunch of interesting stuff in there. And that's what I feel he's done with Munich. I think Munich's a pretty good. Fine line that I think it hits where it is a movie about a historical thing. It takes it very seriously, you know. I mean, I don't know. I guess people are going to be very testy about this movie nowadays. They'll be like, oh, you bloody genociders, Zionistic genocide, fuck you all. It's like when the old lady's talking about, we have a home that we can call, fuck you, bitch, you old bitch, you fucking genocider piece of shit. Why can't you be a good person like me? I'm against genocide. I'm like, you fucking Jew piece of shit. I'm not being anti-Semitic. I'm just anti-genocide. Right? That's why I hate Jews. But anyway, so for the film is obviously going to have that kind of reaction from a whole bunch of people. Whatever. I'm not politically retarded. I just watched it and was like, oh yeah. But what I'm saying is the film is very much takes itself seriously. Takes the situation that it's dealing with seriously, and also the notion on vengeance, blah, 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 that kind of thing, you know, which is, you know, obviously got its history and the continuing history that is going. But I definitely, as I'm watching it, I'm thinking, okay, I don't know the, like, I actually didn't know the story at all before watching the movie. All I knew was that I didn't know the vengeance aspect of it. But as I'm watching the movie, I am thinking, okay, I can tell that they've fudged some things just to make it more exciting, just to make it a bit more of a thriller, tantalizing kind of thing. Like just little, they feel like movie touches. Like the first time they try to kill that guy in his home and they wait for the daughter to leave, but then the daughter runs back in. Oh no, she forgot her book. Oh no, don't set up the bomb. Oh, and then the guy's like over there and he suddenly comes out, but he sees the car that the daughter was in. He's like, oh no, she's gone upstairs. Don't fucking. It's a great scene. And the guy's like just about to like press the bomb, detonator, but he's like trying to take the plastic off, you know, and it's like, oh no, oh, it's getting intense. Don't press it. Oh no. And then he obviously gets there just in time to tell him, don't fucking hit it. And then the daughter leaves. She picks up her fucking book, leaves, and then again. But then they're like, okay, now let's do it. And the fucking cunt who picks up the phone, her dad, boom, gets blown up. They still go with it. They're still like, okay, it's definitely no one there. All right. And then, there's this whole thing with like, you know, don't make the bomb too explosive. I mean, that's really it's a part of the story where they're like, don't make it so bloody explosive. Because last time, you almost blew up the room that I was in as well next door. And it's like, well, I mean, you should like turning off the light is like the what lets them know to blow up that room. But you should have like waited 10 seconds so you could have that other guy to leave the room because he gets kind of fucked up or whatever. But yeah, I like this movie for its, you know, obviously like, you know, for its thrilling aspects. But I do feel like the movie isn't particularly didactic to me. I guess other people are really going to think that way. Be like, oh, this bloody pro-Zionist film, fuck off. But fuck you. Cinephiles for Palestine. But I do think, as I'm watching the movie, I'm like, okay, there are people in the movie expressing their opinions and their beliefs, and some of them are, I guess they're Zionists, whatever that is. But they're like, you know, we have a fucking home there, all right? No one's taking it away. We have it. It's our bloody home that I call Australia. Oh God, probably would end up having Israel in Australia somewhere. Let's just take Perth now. Oh great, now we got the Gaza Strip in Perth. Oh, well, at least it would make Perth a bit more livelier. But anyway, I do think that the film feels more like a conversation, like kind of with itself, and it doesn't really end it. But it's not like a monologue. It's not like just saying, oh, here's what you need to bloody think now, just based on watching this film. I think it ends up, you know, discussing things, but not positing them in like an objective fashion. Like, you know, this is how we should feel about this extremely touchy subject, which if it were made today would just be so fucking different. It would have to like specify, remember, these are bad people. They're trying to get revengeance, but for the what happened at the Olympics, but hey, come on. Or whatever kind of thing. Anyway, I don't know, I'll probably get cancelled for this pod as well. Yeah. And I have to say, like, when I first went into this movie, I thought it was going to be about just the Olympics fiasco where they, like, killed those Israeli athletes and coaches, which they show, but throughout the movie. But the movie is more about the vengeance aspect where they have to go over to, different countries. I think mostly in Europe, was it? By the looks of things, I don't know. And kill off these people who instigated this whole assassination terrorist attack. I was like, oh, I didn't even know about that all happened. Cool. And all the musings that it does on vengeance and what kind of psychological toll it has on one man and how he has to, how he feels about it personally and how he feels about it in terms of his people and never-ending violence and bloodshed, blah blah blah. Hey, good stuff. Good on you, Spielberg. Good quality blockbuster filmmaking. I loved it. And the best part of the movie is the very end, where there's this reconciliation, in terms of, with Israelis and whoever. Like, it obviously, it's about the main guy who he goes to live in New York and people get mad at him because why don't you live in Israel again? You bloody, you might as well become Palestinian. Why don't you bloody living in New York? And yeah, they hate him for that. But anyway, the very last shot of the movie, it shows, it says a little thing out of those targeted for assassination because of the Israeli murders at the Olympics, it says 9 out of 11 of those targeted were killed. And it says this as it pans up and shows this is a 2005 movie, a composite image of the Twin Towers in New York, because this is set in the 70s or 80s now, whatever. It says 9 out of 11 as it shows the Twin Towers, and then it just cuts to credits, and it's oh, bravo, Spielberg! Oh, such kino! Oh, the way you put the numbers against the... Oh, fuck. I mean, what is that even supposed to mean? I'm trying to get... What exactly... Palestinians did 9/11? What am I even supposed to get out of this? I don't know, but you know what? That's the good thing about this movie. It makes you think. What the fuck am I even trying to watch or get out of it? But no, that's good. I think the film ended up touching upon subjects without ever kind of just grabbing them and smothering them in your face and being like, this is wrong. Just taking a fucking dead Palestinian baby and sticking in your face you like this? You like this, don't you, you fucking Zionist? Why don't you be nice like me, you cunt? So I like Munich. Anyway, next. So you ever watch a film and you appear to not like it, and then years go by, a decade or whatever, and then you look at your Critica or Letterboxd review of it, you're looking at it, you're like, that's quite low, and then you're watching scenes of it on wherever, YouTube or whatever, and you're like, oh, these scenes are cool. I should watch this movie again. I think I've miscriticized it. But I'm realizing now, I've done this with a few films, and sometimes I enjoy it a little bit more than before, but I'm like, why did I watch this again? But those scenes that seem really cool that I watch on YouTube, they are the only cool scenes in the fucking movie. Yeah, this happened with Hellraiser recently, where I watched the bit where the Cenobites first show up, and I'm like, God damn, this is such a cool scene, man. This is awesome, man. They come up and and then I'm also just thinking about the whole, I don't know, thematic shit about Hellraiser and it being to do with embracing pain and everything. And then I watched the movie again, and it's not really about that at all. It's just about some dumb slut going around picking up guys and killing them to fuel this other guy to get his flesh back, kind of thing. That seems to be what it's about. Anyway, whatever. But the other film that I did this with recently is Leaving Las Vegas. Remember this film? Which, yeah, I did see. My review of it was kind of low, and it said, it's a good Nick Cage performance, obviously, but I just don't like the romance in the movie. And I'm like, oh, whatever. But then, I watched scenes of it again on YouTube, and I'm like, this movie looks cool. The whole bit where he's in the bank, So I watched it again. I tried watching it again. Holy fuck. What a fucking, misguided movie. I couldn't even really just sit through it. I just got so fucking frustrated with it. And here's why. I want to watch this film about Nick Cage. He's, the concept is great. He goes to Las Vegas to drink himself to death. Wow. All right, let's get to it. You kind of think, I don't like just whatever kind of situations he could get in. I don't know. Like I think about it could be like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, which is almost that film is almost like a better adaptation of like the book or the story that Leaving Las Vegas is based on. This is about people getting fucked up in Las Vegas and not even caring if they die or whatever. But here's the problem with Leaving Las Vegas. He's got this the prostitute in the movie. Like it's a fine performance. I actually quite like the performance, but it's just such a fucked character because first of all, it's just boring. It's just, oh, I'm a prostitute. Oh, I'm getting beaten up by my pimp. Oh, I need a sensitive trick to connect with. It's just that. I've just seen this a million times. It's so fucking played. It's like I'm so not interested. And even before '96, this was so played. So there's that. But she takes up she is the main character in the movie. You watch the opening of the movie where it's like Nicolas Cage and he's like stockpiling alcohol. He goes to the bank to try to get a cashed check, and he's like, I can't sign it. And then it goes to the credits. And you watch that and you're like, oh, cool, Nicolas Cage. Hey, it's Best Actor Oscar. And he's the main character of the film. Like, isn't this who it's going to be? And then this prostitute character comes in, and she's the main character because I swear, like I'm saying, like, the scenes of her are pretty boring, but there's more going on. Like, the film feels like it wants to be more alive with her because there's conflict going on where she's like, oh, my pimp's beating me up or whatever. Oh, no. I don't have enough money. Oh, no. I should have got more money for me pimp. Now he's going to beat me up. Oh, no. Now I have to do a bloody double shift now. Goddamn, I got to work, the morning shift as well. Oh, geez. And that's going to be hard. How am I going to get money for that? Like, that's just, it's so played, Well, actually, I've never seen a prostitute, like, just work in the morning on the strip. Like, oh, I'm tired. Can I go home now? Bloody hell. I'm not even, like, getting paid that much out of what I get. But that shit is boring. But, like, I was kind of like fast forwarding through the movie quite a bit, and I was going between like Nick Cage's scenes. It's like him like drinking, getting drunk, and it's as if the film doesn't have the confidence. Like it thinks like this isn't interesting enough. Where I don't know, like this is what the film is. It's about a guy killing himself with alcohol. Okay, well let's have a few plot points as it goes along. Who knows how it ends? I mean, given that the author of the original book fucking went all the way with it, then maybe we'll do the same. Or did he kill himself? I don't know. But anyway. I think he killed himself. I don't know. But anyway, does he drink himself to death? Does he not? Does he get redemption? This kind of thing. And this prostitute character just comes into his life and just does the most unrealistic thing. She looks at this guy who's like, I'm drinking myself to death. And she's like, oh, he's so charming. Oh, I can fix him. And she just stays with him, fucks him for free, starts cooking him dinner. And he doesn't even change out of this. Like, he's still like, And I mean, it's so... How can this be? Like, it's just so unrealistic, This is such bullshit, like, that just... Someone wants to take care of this guy who's just this suicidal. Like, unless there was already history. Like, his wife left him. You don't see his wife in the movie. But he has an ex-wife. He has a kid. Fuck him. They don't even get shown in the movie. But if it was, like, his sister. Like, she's acting like his sister. Or, like, an ex. Or someone that's come back into his life. And it's like... It doesn't make sense because, like, she looks at him when he's a fucked drunk and thinks, oh, what an amazing guy, Like, there's nothing to him unless she saw something before his drinking and she's like, I know there's something good in you and we can take this out of you. Like no, like, it doesn't work like that. It just... The film completely cooks this relationship and it makes up so much of the film where... Like, what is going on? Why is she being, like, such a helper to this, like, guy? Is it because of the whole cliche of, like, I'm a beaten prostitute, I need a sensitive trick, that kind of thing? Ugh, it's such a... This is the worst fucking way I've seen that cliche done in a movie before. Ugh. And that's what I'm saying. Like, so much of the film is, like, her instead of Nicolas Cage, and it just like gets into her. Like, she has all these scenes where she's at a therapist is like talking about him and she's like, oh my god, what I really saw in him and blah blah blah. And I mean, kind of makes sense, but it doesn't if that's all she's seen in this fucking guy. Like, how can she be interested in him in this kind of way? Like, it makes more sense. Like, there's a bit later on where like a chick tries to get with him, but she's drunk as well and she's just trying to piss off her boyfriend. Like, that makes sense. This makes sense. I'm more interested in this relationship because this makes sense. It seems realistic. It's absolutely not off in cuckoo land like with this other shit. So it's just such like bullshit. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's a bit of a switcheroo where like I'm feeling like I want this film to be about this guy and his whole shenanigans, and then it ends up just switching over. Like it does switch over. It's not like she's in the opening scene or she doesn't show up until later on, and then the movie just switches over to her and becomes about her. Because I feel like the movie doesn't have the confidence to just have a film be about a drunk, just a guy drinking himself to death. Like it feels like it needs extra plot points and this other character, and it becomes like more about her. But she's just a boring, shitty, cliched, unrealistic, but at least well-acted character. Fuck that. Anyway, fuck that movie. And then, alright, so just to quickly end it, but like, I was watching, how do I even explain this? So I have a DVD of Woody Allen's first movie, but it has like shit at the front that makes it look like how you watch a movie in the 60s with like newsreel, and then like a cartoon, and then an episode of something. So you have like, I watched for the newsreels. I forget what they said because it was like the 60s. I don't know. I think they were literally talking about like, Australia is considering entering into the Vietnam War with America. And it's like, oh great, here we go. So yeah, it was around about that time. And then there was a cartoon of the Three Stooges. Not that I've really watched much of the cartoon Three Stooges, but it just doesn't seem right to sort of, I don't know, those guys, I think they do the voices in the show, in the cartoon, but those guys were very visual, so I want to see them, not a cartoon version of them, but oh well, whatever. And then after that we had Lassie. I watched an episode of Lassie. I guess I've never really seen this show before, and I'm so fucking glad I haven't, because I regret even watching this one episode. It bummed me out, man. I just got seriously frustrated and anxious watching it. Like, it's not this guy, he's like a farm or whatever, he's burning off, like he's deforesting, good on you, and then, like, burning the rubble, the trees, he's just doing that, he's like, hey, fuck yeah, I'm gonna get some money, some investment here, and then Lassie is like, oh no, but there's like there's bunnies, there's a bunny with these two babies, in the trees, the rubble, whatever. It's in the rubble. Lassie tries to stop these bulldozers coming and like pushing it over because they're like, oh, I see there's some rabbits in the rubble. Well, better fuck them off then. Better make them move. And it's like, oh man, bloody gentrification. Huh? Oh, well, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure bunnies can move from one place to the other and not be too upset. It's not like they gotta like U-Haul everything around, It's not like, oh great, I gotta get my bloody Blu-ray and pop vinyl collection moved around. Oh god, that's gonna be hundreds of dollars and everything. So he's got to like move the bunnies. So he does that. But then like there's like smoke from the rubble where the bunnies are in the like safe new rubble, but the smoke is going towards their rubble. So the dog has to like stop that as well. I forget how exactly. I think he moves them again. He picks up a bunny and starts moving it. Or the bunny like escapes and just runs off because of the smoke, I think. So the Lassie has to look for this bunny, and then he almost the bunny almost gets eaten by like a dingo or a coyote or whatever you got in America, and a woolly mammoth, and and then he saves the day. He comes back, he brings the bunny back. Everyone's fine, ha ha. The guy makes millions of dollars out of his new bloody properties, like a whole bloody suburb that he's like giving out. Yeah, it was just frustrating. It's just like watching animals in peril. Like, this isn't fucking fun. Let me watch people in peril. Can I watch Palestinians in peril instead? Because I'm like, I'm eating my popcorn. Like, very, musing on vengeance and, is it right? All the bloodshed, should we keep murdering? Is it so good? I'd rather that than fucking... The humans are pricks. They're just like, Lassie, better move these bunnies. Who gives a fuck? And it's like, oh god, fuck the humans, And it's just stressful. It's just stressful to watch, like just the anthropocenic nature of the way people fuck around with like all other creatures on Earth. They're God's creatures, and these are God-fearing people, but they're still like, fuck them off. And so Lassie has to come in and save the day, just like, oh god, I gotta deal with all these creatures. And you can imagine that there was like another bunny elsewhere that just got run over by this bulldozer. Oh, God, man. This isn't what I want to watch to, like, wean myself into a Woody Allen flick, you know? I want to watch something else. Some sort of pedophile joke, I don't know. Anyway, this has been the episode 108. I'm thinking of renaming this pod because I don't want to have my name on it. Everyone like, oh, you've been talking shit about the French, huh? Oh, I don't know. Maybe. So yeah, I'm gonna call it so I'm gonna change the name to someone else, I guess.